I yelled at my sister-in-law at my wedding and told her no one cares that she is pregnant, and I don't regret it. My family is from overseas. When my husband and I got married 2 years ago, it was a courthouse ceremony with 2 witnesses and a parking meter running out front. No family, no celebration, no nothing. COVID made sure of that. My parents, my sister, my grandparents, none of them were there. I cried in the car on the way home, not from happiness, just from the weight of how wrong it all felt. So when restrictions finally lifted, we decided to do it right. A real wedding back in my home country. We booked a venue, coordinated flights for his entire family, planned excursions, reserved restaurants. It took 8 months to organize. My mom hadn't seen me in almost 5 years. This trip was everything. His family flew in from across the country. His parents, his brother and sister-in-law, some cousins, and his sister and her husband. They live far from the rest of the family, so they were around more than usual in the weeks leading up to the trip. That's when the comments started. Every time the wedding came up, my sister-in-law would find a way to mention that she and her husband were planning to get pregnant on the trip. She'd say it casually, like it was nothing. We'd be talking about excursions, and she'd say make sure there's enough downtime at the hotel for us. At first I laughed it off. They're adults, whatever. But it kept happening. Every conversation, every planning call, every family dinner. Then, about a week before we left, my sister-in-law and her husband were at my in-laws' house visiting. We were all sitting around talking when she announced she was pregnant. Everyone cheered, we hugged her, asked questions, got excited. Then she said she was 2 weeks along, and the room kind of paused. 2 weeks, that's barely a missed period. My brother-in-law and his wife, who had been through multiple miscarriages, gently told her it might be smart to wait before telling too many people. Her husband completely agreed and said they were only telling immediate family, nobody else. The next day she told her great uncle and his wife, then an aunt and uncle. Then by evening the entire extended family knew, including a few of her mom's friends who happened to stop by the house. Her husband looked like he was about to walk into traffic. He finally told her she might as well just post it on Facebook, and she said she wanted to but thought it would look bad. My husband came to me and said he felt like she was doing this on purpose. His sister had a history of making everything about herself. He wasn't wrong. We agreed not to make a big deal of it. When we got to my home country, she wouldn't know anyone there, so there'd be nothing to announce. We were wrong. We landed and went straight to dinner with my family. My mom met his family for the first time. It was emotional. 5 years of distance, and here she was sitting across the table from me. 10 minutes into the meal, my sister-in-law looked at my mom and said she probably already heard the news, but that she wouldn't be drinking on the trip. My mom said that was completely fine. My sister-in-law cut her off to clarify it wasn't a choice. She was pregnant. My mom said congratulations and moved on. My sister-in-law interrupted again to explain she was 2 weeks along and just so thrilled. My mom, who works in medicine, calmly told her that most doctors recommend waiting until the second trimester before announcing. My sister-in-law ignored her completely and turned to my aunt to start the whole conversation over. This happened with my uncle, my cousins, my grandparents, my sister. People she had never met in her life. People who were there to celebrate my wedding, and she was introducing herself and her pregnancy in the same breath. Every time someone ordered drinks and she declined, she made it a production. She'd raise her voice across the table, make a face, repeat herself until someone asked why she wasn't drinking. Then she'd light up. My husband spoke to his parents twice. Her husband apologized to us directly and said it had gone way further than they'd agreed. Nothing changed. The day of the wedding, my high school friends were there. People I hadn't seen in years who had flown out specifically for this. They came over to find me, and we were hugging and catching up when my sister-in-law appeared at the edge of the group. She started talking about how sick she'd been feeling all week. Nobody asked. They just said they hoped she felt better, the way you do when someone mentions they're not feeling well. That should have been the end of it, but she kept going. She'd pause and look around the circle waiting for someone to ask why she was sick. When nobody did, she'd bring up the nausea again, then the exhaustion. She was working so hard to get someone to ask the question so she could deliver the answer, and something in me just gave out. I looked at her and said, "Are you kidding me right now? Nobody here cares that you're pregnant. They don't even know you." She went completely silent. Then she walked away and started crying. My mother-in-law heard the whole thing and went straight to my father-in-law, who found my husband and screamed at him about how we had humiliated her on a sensitive day. My husband told him flat out that he agreed with me. My high school friends, who had watched the whole thing, said I had nothing to apologize for. My mom thinks I went too far. A few of his family members think I was out of line. But my husband stood next to me that entire week, watching her dismantle every moment we'd spent years rebuilding. He watched her announce her pregnancy to my grandmother before I even had a chance to introduce them properly. He watched her make my friends uncomfortable at our own wedding. So no, I don't regret it. Not even a little.